Good evening, Fernwood. It is your pigtail appreciating pal Neil here, and it's time for us to get hairy with another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 157. That's the 27th episode of Mary Hartman Season 2 from November 10th, 1976. I believe we can take a look at yesterday's episode, which started with Martha feeling sad that George is gone and not sure how she would pay her bills. Detective Johnson makes it clear that he has room for Martha in his heart, and Martha makes him a sandwich. Kathy still can't find the man who impregnated her. She got a letter from Dennis that said that he was moving to Africa and that he had a vasectomy before they met. Tom and Mary had a very, very hot night in bed after Mary returned from the mental ward. Mary has a bit of jealousy towards Tippy Toes, but those seeds have not yet begun to germinate. The next morning, Mary serves Annie coffee, and Annie picks up on the vibe that it would be a good idea for her to move out of the driveway. Kathy meets with Dr. Furman to negotiate the adoption, and then a thrilled Tom comes home to let the family know that his idea to have a commercial for the RV lot was accepted and that he is going to be the representative. He's incredibly thankful to Annie, and then when Tom suggests to Mary that the whole family should be involved in the commercial, Mary gives an uncomfortable response. That is all of the recapping we've got today. Let us begin this Tuesday episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Discover America this year and discover it with your family.
It's warmth. You've got to have warmth in a situation like this. That's what they want to see on television. They want to see warmth. They want to see a nice, friendly sense of warmth, and I'm just not so sure he has it. That's all.
Whatever your needs, whatever your wants, we have it, the right vehicle for you here at Donnelly's RV City. And the price is right. So come on down.
That's good. No, that's good. That's good.
Good.
The price is right. That has a definite good ring to it.
Good. Well, how was I?
I loved the ending.
The end? What about the beginning and the middle?
You looked wonderful. No, I just, honestly, Tom, I felt that you were lacking a little bit of warmth.
Yeah.
And I felt that you seemed a little bit uncomfortable. But you do have appeal. You really do have a great appeal.
I was very nervous.
Nervous?
Yeah.
We sense that. There's no question about it. In fact, I even have a suggestion about it. I got an idea. Listen to this. Use the camera here, okay?
Yeah.
Take the camera and pretend the camera is a potential customer, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to the camera as though we're a customer. Say to the camera, listen, truck on down here and visit with me.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? That'll add to the appeal. That's my feeling.
Yeah. What do you mean? Do you think I'm not appealing?
Oh, no, Tom. No, I didn't say that, but I'm not the one in question here. I mean, I'm not buying the recreational vehicle. You're talking about your television buyers out there, and you want to give them a sense of warmth and appeal, and what you want to do is talk to them in such a way so that they're going to come down and that they're going to visit you, and you want to get across your warmth and appeal verbally.
Okay.
With words. Yeah, that too.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, Mary, could I speak to you just for a minute?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
What?
Listen, I'll tell you what. Would you mind going home? Because I tell you what, you're making me a little nervous. Would you mind?
Me? I really am making you nervous?
Yeah.
Well, okay, then maybe I better leave, okay?
Okay.
Maybe I better leave. Okay, Annie and I will just leave, and then you do, whatever it is that you have to do, whatever you think is right.
Annie is not making me nervous, honey. I mean, it's all her idea.
Oh, well, then, I'll just, I'll leave and, it's okay. I'll just leave and, I'll see you at home,
would you
sweetheart.
mind?
Okay?
Thank you.
No, it's fine. I'll see you home and just remember, warmth and appeal, okay? Okay. And warmth. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll see you later.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll see you later.
All right. See, she thinks I'm dull, see, I mean,
I mean, you know, what do I have to do? Have a nervous breakdown to liven things up? I mean, what?
Hey, Tom, she loves you. She just wants you to be the very best you can.
Yeah.
She's as nervous as you are. Everything's going to be fine.
Do you think it's dull?
Well, no, it's not all of Mary's suggestions that were unwarranted. If you could just be natural, be Tom, be yourself. You want people to trust you and believe you. And just don't be tense. Ever since Nixon, no one seems to trust anyone who's tense.
Yeah.
So relax. Come on, relax. That's it. That's it. Relax.
Okay,
Now, and try to look at the camera like talk to it as if it were a friend.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, look, I got an idea. Why don't you, would you stand behind the camera and then maybe I could talk to it and it would be just like talking to a friend, okay?
Sure, if you think it'll help,
All
I'll
right.
do anything, of course.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
And listen, then when you are all perfect, and I could go back and tell Mary that it turned out beautifully, and she'll feel better too, okay?
Okay, all right. Here we go.
How's this?
That's good. Let me just... Yeah, that's it. Just right, smile, right. Hi there, Tom Hartman here for RV...
Come in. Look, Mary, I am not sorry for... Oh, hi.
Hello. Is this the Shumway residence?
Yes, it is.
And you must be Kathy. How sweet. Mini skirts. Can we come in?
Well, wait a minute. Are you Jack and Jill, the UFO spotters that Mother is searching for money for?
Jack and Jill in the UFO. I'm sure they even read the Inquirer.
We're Brian and Christine Adams. Dr. Furman directed us to you.
Oh, Dr. Furman, the people who wanted the baby. Oh, you see, I was expecting someone pale and... I was expecting someone... Well, you see, I wasn't really, to tell you the truth, expecting...
Anyone. Which is why we came now.
Christine believes in impromptu visits. She likes to take a look at a person's background, her living habits.
How sweet. We had the same set of dishes for the kitchen staff. Do you, really eat all of that canned food?
Oh, only in emergencies.
I see. Now, you are prepared to swear that the child is 100% purebred. White, I mean. Oh, it's not that we're bigoted. It's just that we aren't into being showy.
Well, I'm not sure, like, what my grandparents were into. Like, during the Civil War.
What Christine means is the father was white, not black or Chinese.
Or Arab, which on a warm day tends to look Hindu. Oh, I bet you thought I was going to say Jewish.
Well, do I have to make out an affidavit?
Actually, I like Jews. But for second marriages, not for baby pictures.
I just want the best for my baby.
Of course.
And that's what you can give it. Him or her.
Things are going too well for you?
Oh, no, not since my daddy disappeared.
Shumway. George Shumway.
Do you know him?
Doesn't he work at the Fernwood assembly plant? I used to see his name on the Christmas lists and laugh.
Well, were you a secretary there?
Oh, no, dear. My father owns the factory. Well, I know that's being pushy, but I'm so tired of apologizing for being rich.
Oh, well, did you know my father?
Not socially. Actually, early on, Mummy and Daddy sent me out west to school, which is so much less obvious than going east.
What Christine means is that she's led a very sheltered life away from her...
Brian, I wish you'd stop telling everybody what I mean. Brian is a copy editor for the New Ohio, and he has a tendency to censor everything.
Would you like us to take care of your child, Kathy?
Provided it's white, of course.
Oh, well, you see, it's not what I want. It's what's good for the... Well, if you want to adopt the baby...
No, we don't want to adopt the baby. We want to take over your life. Much like you would a car payment that someone else can't keep up.
What Christine means is we're very interested in the both of you.
Both of us? You want to adopt me, too?
If we agree to take the baby, then we'd want you to come to live with us until the baby is born, to supervise your nutritional intake and your personal activities.
Well, I don't much care for being supervised.
That's what I told Christine.
But prenatal care is imperative for a healthy child. And you can't afford the comforts that we could give you both. Thanks to Daddy.
Well, it's just that, I never expected to be adopted, too.
Well, it could be worse. Now, I will even help you to pick out your maternity miniskirts. We'll be friends.
I'll think about it.
Ta-da, ta-da! Hi, Mary.
Hi. It's almost 9 o'clock. I never know when I'm going to see you anymore.
I know. Well, when you're own boss, work has its own time schedule. Hi, Heather. Hi.
What's that?
This, that, my dear and wonderful Heather, is a surprise.
Can I open it?
Now, wait a minute. It's both for you and your extraordinary mother.
You open it, Heather, because I'll understand. Oh, Tom, that's really so sweet of you. And with your new work schedule and everything, where'd you find the time to do it? That's
I always
so
have
sweet.
time for you. Always.
A CD! A CD? Oh, boy! Hey, it's just what I wanted. Now I can get in some real hot John Jack. And, they're teaching CP at school next semester.
They are? Are you going to take that course? Is that what you've decided to be when you grow up, a truck driver?
Tempe has a CB and she's not a truck driver. Hey, can I go over and practice some lingo with her?
I think you have to finish your homework, Heather.
Oh, that's done.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay, as long as you're back by 10. Okay?
Oh, boy, Tippy! Tippy, I got a CB! Tippy! Oh, Tippy!
I could have used a juicer, Tom.
Hey, Mr. Gamble, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm
Merle,
terribly...
I'm glad you could make it on such short notice. Sit down.
Well?
Excuse the informality, but
Oh, sure.
I can guarantee you that this meeting of ours is going to have long-term benefits.
Good. I hope so. I'm always welcoming a chance to talk about community affairs.
Well, this would be community affairs and business affairs.
I don't know whether you know about them or not, but I'm very much involved in something called the Condos for Christ out there on the suburbs.
Yeah, I drove by your Christ condos, Merle, and as near as I could see, those things are going to be finished before you can say onward Christian soldiers. So I thought we ought to talk about our future.
Uh-huh. What do you mean, our future?
Okay, let me put my cards right on the table here. Be honest with you from the very beginning. I am somewhat of an opportunist.
Right. Uh-huh.
And I see a man that I admire.
Don't touch me.
A man whose goals I share, and a man who others admire.
Mm-hmm.
But I also see a man who hasn't the slightest idea how to go about achieving these goals that he, I, and so many others want.
Yeah.
So I'm here, Merle, to offer my special skills to direct you to the on-ramp of the freeway of success.
Uh-huh. Well, that sounds real good, Mr. Gamble.
You bet.
But I tell you, actually, I think you're reading me a little bit wrong in that area, see, because I'm not really interested in success per se. What I'm interested in is helping people.
All right, I know.
You know what I mean?
I know, and I want to help you to help them to help themselves. But we can't be naive about this, Merle. I know your goals.
Yeah.
And I also know the only means you have of achieving the end you want is by going into business.
Well,
with me.
No, see, there you go again. See, I'm actually, the furthest thing I am in this world is a businessman.
You can be anything you want to be.
Well.
Your star is rising. And I'm going to be perfectly honest once again. This will be twice. I already told you I was an opportunist.
Right.
I would very much like to hitch my wagon to that rising star of yours. I think it has the potential of rising like one of your condos on a sunny day.
Condos will be beautiful on a sunny day, right?
I like your style, too, and so do a lot of other people. I think you're a born leader. You know, I've actually even put that little phrase of yours to use, the one you came up with for Mary Hartman Homecoming Day. It's going to be a terrific slogan for the development of Fernwood. You're as recovered as you think you are.
Oh, yeah.
Ace phrase, ace.
Right.
I figure any man that can come up with a slogan like that, that's the man.
Yeah,
who
but
can lead Fernwood to its recovery.
You know, if you remember, if you look back on it, it wasn't me to come up with it. It was Mary Hartman.
You recognize the potential. You follow me?
True.
Any man that can recognize the potential of a statement
Right.
like that, that's the man I want to work with.
You want to take a look behind you for a minute? Oh, my goodness. You know, Mr. Wanda Rittenhouse?
Good afternoon, Mr. Gimble.
Hi, Wanda. How are you? Good to see you.
Well, I sensed that you two were here discussing the future, Merle's future, and the future of Fernwood.
That's right.
I have a few ideas on that myself, so I knew you wouldn't mind my joining you.
No,
It's amazing that you knew that.
Merle and I were Just discussing some very real possibilities for him in the economic development of the city. And I've been trying to convince him that his very, very worthy aims for the people of Fernwood could be best served, I think, by involving himself in the area's industrial development.
Oh, no. No, not business. Really, Garth. Look, I hope you don't mind, but politics is where Merle belongs.
Politics is simply the mouthpiece of American business. Even when they're trying to do good, you need money to buy goodness.
No, but I don't want money, see? I don't want it.
I know that, but you want things that cost money.
Well,
improving the quality of life costs and costs big.
No, you're on the wrong track, Garth. Power changes things. And Merle is destined to be in a position of power in politics.
don't want the power either.
Well, of course you do. From
No.
positions of power, you can affect change. Step by step. Look, you've already made a good start. Now, I don't think the mayor would have a chance against you today, much less after a few months of campaigning. And then one term in Congress, and perhaps the governor's mansion, and the Senate, and who knows? Now, how old are you, Merle?
I'm 42.
Yeah, plus 12, that's 54. In 12 years, with a clever timetable and careful planning, you could be president.
Of the country, right?
Yeah,
Right.
well, as Jimmy Carter's mother must have said, why not?
Well, then he would certainly need the support of the business community. Why not be part of it?
Oh, no. We don't need them or their dirty money. We'll have the people behind us. Now, honesty and charisma, the people won't be able to resist
No,
it.
all I'm interested in is helping people. Like I was telling you before she came here, all I want to do is just work for some charity organization, some foundation.
Foundations? Oh, the graveyard of failures.
Well, sometimes it's the perfect scam you're looking for, though, if you want a tax shelter or some business money.
Oh, no. They're too elite even then. Too remote from the people. And there's your real base of power.
Money.
People.
People and money.
Through private contributions.
Through corporate savvy.
Actually, what I had in mind was something like Salvation Army.
Pardon me, honey. Where should this carton go?
What beats me? What's it say on it?
Well, it's not marked.
I guess that'll teach you to mark all of them next time, won't it, honey?
I suppose so. I'm sorry, honey.
All right.
Honey, do you suppose that you could help me with some of this for a little while?
Darling, I am reading Fortune magazine. If I do not keep aware of what is happening in the business world, I'm never going to get anywhere.
Well, I know that, honey, but I thought that maybe you could just read that, well, later.
I don't put off till tomorrow, Patty, and you know that. Hand me a licorice, will you, kiddo?
Garth, honey, the licorice is sitting right next to you.
I do have eyes, sweetheart. Come on. Get me a piece of licorice, kiddo. Damn it, look at this.
What?
28 years old.
Here.
Guy's 28 years old. He already has $1 million 10 times over, all from flexible packaging. Probably Jewish.
Garth, honey, don't get upset. Handsome men do not look good wearing envy.
What are you doing?
You said you wanted some licorice.
Stick it, Patty. Stick it. And don't ever tell me I'm envious of anyone. I just get mad when I read about people who are getting ahead because they have connections, okay?
Does the article say he had connections?
Patty, what do you know about the world out there, really? It doesn't matter what the article says. Tell you one thing you do know, though, and that's how to make me mad.
Someone's at the door. I did not mean to make you angry. Please calm down.
I'm not angry, and I don't want you telling me what to do. Don't ever tell me what to do. Let's get the door.
Hi!
Mrs. Hartman.
Hi, I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, Patty and I are so happy you came by.
Oh, I'm glad too. As I rang the bell, I thought I heard something drop.
Oh, that was me. I am always so clumsy whenever I'm moving and I drop that ashtray.
You dropped it against the wall.
Poor Patty here's just a little overtired from all the moving and unpacking and packing. I must admit, I'm a little bit exhausted, too. You want to come in and sit down?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I can imagine how exhausting it is. I mean, Tom, you know, and I've been married for a long time, and we have never moved, but, I mean, I just find the process itself, as an outsider, a very interesting process. And if ever there was a house to study this particular interesting process, and it's this house. I mean, this house has a fascinating history. Like the McCulloughs, they were the people that moved out before you. Mrs. McCullough had 2 sons. Well, actually, one was her son and one was her homosexual. And then before the McCulloughs moved out, the Fetters moved out. That was Coach Fetters and his wife Blanche. Actually, Blanche moved out. The coach drowned here.
Mary, there's no swimming pool.
Maybe in the tub. You know, one of those freak household accidents.
I killed him.
Was it a freak accident, Mary?
I think so. He drowned in a bowl of my chicken soup.
What do you think, honey?
I think you could call that a freak accident, all right. Mary, can Patty get you anything?
Oh, yes. Can I get you something? We haven't unpacked much, but there's some licorice.
Oh, no. I just came over to see if there's anything I could do to help, you know.
Oh, Mary, that is so kind of you. You know, maybe you could, you know?
Not with me here, Patty. I'm sorry. We can't ask our good neighbors to help us. We'll get the job done ourselves, kiddo. You see, it's because we like doing things together so much.
Oh, I understand what you mean, because Tom and I are like that sometimes, too, you know, where we like doing things together. Anyway, I'm just so glad you moved into the neighborhood. I mean, she and I just became such good friends at the hospital, and I mean, I've just always found myself so interested in hearing about all her injuries.
I am so glad that we are so close to one another, too.
I know.
And, you know, Garth and I, we don't have many friends.
Well, honey, we could have all the friends we want.
Oh, of course, we could certainly have all we want, but, you know, we kind of like to stay close together, you know, except for the nights when Garth goes out alone. Oh, I am so hoping that we'll be more than just neighbors.
Well, we could be like girlfriends. I mean, I know women aren't supposed to use the word, you know, girlfriends and all that, but, you know, we were born girls.
I think we better get back to our unpacking, don't you, Patty?
Of course.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then I better go. Unless there is something I can do to help here.
No, Mary, you're a sweetheart, but I think it goes a lot faster when you know where everything goes, and we'll just tackle that job ourselves, won't we, kiddo?
Oh, sure. We'll tackle that job.
Okay, but before I leave, I would really like to share one tip with you about unpacking.
Go ahead.
What?
Actually, I have no tips. I have just realized I have never moved. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. I'll see you soon.
Good care of yourself.
Bye.
Oh, boy. Patty, could I trouble you for a piece of licorice?
They have been packing it in, and since the first 5 weeks of this season started with most of the focus in the mental ward, we really haven't had a chance to have some real relationship stuff. I mean, we've slowly been coming back in that direction, but it was all a drama of whether Chester would have a nuclear explosion happen in Fernwood. But here we are, and Tom shooting the commercial, and for me, because I'm, you know, an Angelino who spent a bit of time doing Hollywood things, I was remembering the studio where that was shot, and just, you know, it's very clearly a backlot between two studios. It is the space for the recreational vehicle commercial, but also Mary is giving really generally pretty good advice, but her energy is very anxious, and I get that. Sending her away might be the right deal, but keeping Annie there, while Tom is not an experienced commercial spokesperson, it clearly is going to make Mary uncomfortable. That's just 100% of what is going through her mind. As she was sneaking back beyond the RV, you could just see her peeking. And Tom then becomes very comfortable once Mary is left, and Annie is on the other side of the camera, tippy toes. It's a little bit sad, but I get it. And at this point, I know Tom and Annie don't have any kind of romantic or sexual relation, but I can see exactly why Mary would be jealous in this case. I am going to continue to say that Tom deserves to have friends that support him. And that is a conversation they could be having. I don't expect them to have it, not only because it's the 1970s, but because, how this show goes, these conversations really usually get skipped. I can absolutely stand by Tom's decision to have a supportive friend nearby and to find ways to minimize the anxiousness and anxiety of doing a skill that isn't yours. So, as a person who's looked into a lot of cameras, I get that. Then there's that incredibly uncomfortable scene between Kathy and the Addams family. I looked up their names on the Google. They're Christine and Brian Addams. And beyond the obvious racism in this situation, with Christine insisting that it be a white baby, and something that I did notice when Dr. Furman mentioned it a couple times in the past, but that they are specifically asking for a white baby. It is gross how entitled Christine seems to feel and how overbearing Brian is to Kathy. And for sure, I would be uncomfortable with Kathy letting this family adopt the baby. And I think that's where it's a bit scary that Kathy already signed the paperwork. But it's a gross family, the class aside, right? Because they can be rich. Feel free to be rich and feel free to have privilege. But the entitlements and the racism just aren't cool. And I believe that in the 1970s, it was intended for that to also be visible. Like the amount of racism coming from Christine's mouth is disgusting. And the amount of entitlement to Kathy's life is disgusting. Now, could this be a negotiation? Could this be kind of setting the terms of the deal? Sure, but the way that it's presented, the Addams family feels really entitled. I'm going to say that again. They just feel like they deserve it because they are rich. Then we get a very brief scene with Tom coming home, again, so excited and affectionate. And my belief is that Tom is very much in love with Mary, and he loves being a father to this family. And that's where we stand right now. And he brings home a CB radio kit, which, he presents as a gift to Mary and Heather, but Heather's the only one who's really excited about it. And Heather then goes out to Tippy Toes to practice CB lingo, and Tom doesn't pick up on Mary's feelings. And I think that it's a kind gesture, and I just wish that Tom were open to hearing and seeing below the level. Like in crisis intervention and in mental health, we talk about emotional labeling. Just seeing someone's emotion, saying it out loud. You look uncomfortable, Mary, would be a thing that I'd love to hear from Tom's mouth. I don't expect to, because you know how this show goes. Then we cut to the Capri Lounge, first with Garth and Merle, and Garth is really business obsessed. And in this scene, later we see Wanda joining, we see the crossover, and at this point, Merle has transformed into a complete naif, N-A-I-F. Like just a hero that wants to do a good thing, but then we have the business end and we have the political end pushing towards, and Wanda even suggests that Merle could, with a strategy, become president. And we finally acknowledge that Jimmy Carter was elected, the week before. But there we are. But, it's clear that Garth is just business obsessed and that Wanda is the political urge, and Merle really isn't interested in it. which, I wish he would stick with, but also I see these powerful or power hungry or money hungry people with their ideals, and I don't know that they stand to profit from it, but putting yourself next to greatness is a way of achieving some level of greatness. And then we find that the McCulloughs have moved, and we have some new neighbors, the Gimbles. And I'm really sad that the McCulloughs have moved because I wanted to see more about them. But, at this point, I will share the video that turned me on to Mary Hartman from Matt Baum's channel, which I will post right here, which was all about the McCulloughs. And, that was the one storyline that I kind of knew, other than the 30 episodes I'd seen, very early on. But we have new neighbors, and it is very explicitly clear. It had been hinted at for 5 weeks at this point that there was abuse going on in the Gimble household. And Patty Gimble, as she is named today, is at the very least seeing emotional abuse, verbal abuse. We didn't see any direct physical abuse. We saw Garth throwing a glass or an ashtray. I didn't see what he threw, but breaking glass, that is abusive. Now, again, we're not seeing an injury occur, but that's something that Nurse Gimble has been covering up for weeks at this point in this show. And the relationship outside between Garth and Nurse Gimble, we see is a facade. It is absolutely an act that Garth has been putting on in public since his introduction just a couple weeks ago. We also see Nurse Gimble having her more honest response to this behavior, even when Mary is there. And Mary picks up on the energy, and when Garth, I think, notices that Mary is seeing this, he sends her away. So I expect that this is going to be a relationship that we see a lot more about. I'm not excited to see it, but I want to see it, if you know what I mean, because it's troubling. And if it weren't too late to put up some kind of trigger warning, this would be potentially a trigger warning relationship. So, hey, we have a lot more to go on this, and I expect it won't be pretty. That's what I've got to say about this episode, everybody. Thank you for getting hairy with me. Thank you for sharing thoughts and feelings about the show in the comments and being kind, because I appreciate that. I want to hear what you're thinking about this, because, there's a lot. And please just help me process this, because that's why we talk to each other. Thank you again for being here, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.